Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Our first story is about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight coming up. It's coming up in just a couple months. July 20th is when they're going to be fighting. And everybody knows Tyson's been training hard for this, and so is Paul. And respect to both of them for that. But we got a recent little interview here to show you all real quick before we get into it. Check this out right here.
All right, legendary boxer Mike Tyson is getting back in the ring. He's 58 years old. He's facing off against YouTuber turned boxer 27-year-old Jake Paul. Now, the last time Tyson fought, that was back in 2020. That marked his first professional fight in over 15 years. Tyson recently released a pretty intimidating training video that shows you don't want to be punched by Mike Tyson. Take a look.
Day 3. You still want with me?
All right, the fight's going to take place July 20th. It's going to be in Arlington, Texas, streamed on Netflix. Here now with more. Former heavyweight champion, the one and only Mike Tyson. Good to see you, my friend.
What's up, Sean?
Listen, will you please promise me you're going to kick this guy's ass and shut him up, please?
Hey, I'll do just that for you.
Okay, so everybody can agree that Tyson is not the best at taking interviews, doing interviews, but everybody knows he's a damn good fighter, right? To be honest with you, I don't really know. I don't really know. You know, Tyson is more than twice the age of Paul, and I know they both been training hard. I watched some of Tyson's fights back when I was a kid, and I didn't see his most recent fight when he was 54 years old. I didn't see that fight. I didn't even know he was still fighting at that point. But it's going to be one hell of a fight. I know that. Y'all feel free to share your opinions down in the comments. I'm interested to see that. I'm not sure really how it's going to go. It could be a first round knockout. It could go more than a first round. It could go a few rounds. I really don't know, to be honest with you, but I think one thing's for sure, even at Tyson's age, I think Paul might have found his match. Y'all let me know what you think about that. He said Jake Paul is greatly mistaken. So we'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens. I'll probably be watching it myself. So let's get to our second story now. The Trump rally in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Y'all check it out. Okay, so he said a lot right there. He said he's going to end sanctuary cities. He is going to have immigration enforcement, which we already have, but everybody knows, take it from them firsthand, they've been held back from doing their job to the fullest extent that they should be able to do their job. He's going to cut funding on racial and political curriculums that certain schools are imposing on the kids. He's going to cut funding to those that are having vaccine and mask mandates. He's going to keep the men out of the women's sports. He's going to protect the Second Amendment. And he wants to see, voters have an ID. I don't have a problem with any of that. Y'all let me know if you have a problem with any of that in the comments below. That all seems like the right thing to do to me. And look, I'm not even like a huge Trump fan, or I'm not any kind of fan really, to be honest with you, but everything he said right there is all things that need to happen. All those things need to happen. Every last one of them. Because all of those things were implemented here in the last few years. Men started showing up in women's sports, started showing up in women's bathrooms. Anyone who's got kids should be concerned about stuff like this. The men competing in the women's sports. And I saw there was a man wrestling a woman. Like a man wrestling a woman in women's sports. Just because he said he was a woman. And nobody can prove it, right? Nobody wants to prove it. But you got a man wrestling a woman. Wrestling. If that ain't the craziest thing. and guess who won? I don't even think I have to tell y'all who won. The vaccine and mask mandates, that was overstep. That was complete overstep right there. That should be up to the parents. What they want to do with their own child. The school shouldn't be able to tell you what to do with your own child. If you want your child to be vaccinated or wear a mask, go to school, so be it. Nobody cares. But you can't enforce things like that on our kids. You don't have no authority to do that. Just because you said it, my kid ain't going to your school. And I'll say that, right? And hopefully a lot of other people see eye to eye. If you're a parent, any kind of concerning parent, you will do what you feel is best for your kid, but you don't have no say-so over somebody else's kids, right? You don't go over to other people's homes and tell them what to do with their kids or what not to do with their kids. You are the authority over your own kids. I don't have no problem with that. And then you got immigration enforcement and ending sanctuary cities. I don't think I need to say a whole lot about that. Everybody knows that those have been problems for some time. And he was talking about protecting the Second Amendment. I don't know who would disagree with that unless you are not a law-abiding citizen and you don't want law-abiding citizens to have guns. You can commit your crimes. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then having an ID when you vote. What's the problem with that? Anybody can get an ID. You don't have to have a driver's license. You could have an ID. And I don't know how much it costs in your state, but it's probably like $7 or $8 or $10 to get an ID if you don't have one. And why would you not have one as an adult? I've had one since I was a kid. Why would you not want to have one as an adult? There's certain things that you can't do without an ID. There's a lot of things you can't do without an ID. So what's the problem with them identifying that who you are, who you say you are when you're going to vote? I don't have no problem with that. I don't have no problem with any of that. Now, like I said, I'm not no kind of big Trump fan. I'm not any kind of Trump fan. I'm not a Biden fan. I'm a me fan, right? And, sure, there could be better people to be running for president. I could think of a few people that would be better equipped to run for president. And I'm sure you could too, no matter what side you're on. And don't get me wrong, I'm not on a side. I'm on my own side. I figure out what's best, and I tend to pick the lesser of the two evils. That's the way I roll, If it's more in line with what I believe in, then that's who will get my vote. And I'm sure the same goes for you. Our last story, go ahead and check this one out right here.
Right now at 5:30, a war of words escalating tonight at one of New York City's largest transit hubs.
We're talking about the Fulton Center in Lower Manhattan. There's a mall inside. The operator says crime has gotten so bad there, they are breaking the lease and closing down shops. But the MTA says, not so fast. News 4's Erica Byfield breaks down both sides of the story.
There is a real tug of war happening here. Now the MTA is asking a judge to step in and force Westfield to stay. The shops are supposed to be part of Fulton Center's appeal. Retail upstairs, a transit hub that services 8 subway lines down below. But something's happened. Most of the shops are gone, some now filled with art.
It's a beautiful place, but it could be a little more well kept, and they need to do more in assisting the homeless.
Homelessness is part of the reason that Westfield, the mall operator, wants out. Its leaders say crime is also a big issue. So much so that some shop owners aren't renewing leases, others breaking them early.
So once again, New York. New York, they make the news once again for theft and homelessness. They want to close the mall down. The MTA is suing them, telling them they need to keep it open because the subway system runs underneath the mall, I guess. But I mean, how are you going to try to keep the mall open? The MTA is trying to sue them to tell them they need to keep the mall open. But how are you going to keep a mall open? A mall is for business. They have to make money. If they're getting robbed blind, they are losing money. So yeah, if I'm a tenant there, I'm out too. I'm leaving too. You can't conduct business. They're trying to force them to stay open, trying to force them to conduct business while they're losing business, getting robbed, homeless people laying around all over the place. Nobody wants to bring their kids there. The mall is supposed to be a place that, it's supposed to be an atmosphere like a family atmosphere where you can bring your kids, you go have a good time, go shopping, go eat, things like that. You can't even enjoy the environment. So people are going to stop going, right? They're going to stop going. That means less business, right? So now you're just getting robbed and you can't even bring customers in anymore. Why the hell would you not leave? I would leave. If I have a business there, I'm out too if I see all that mess going on. And to be honest with you, I would check it all out before I ever moved in there in the first place. It looks like a beautiful building, but unfortunately, crime has taken over. And it's not good for anybody. It's not good for business at all. So I don't blame them for wanting to leave. But to be honest with you, I would never take my ass up to New York in the first place. I've been there a few times, been there in different cities. There are some nice cities to go to and visit or have a vacation or whatever. But not anywhere around there. That's where they're beating the old ladies and robbing people and, shooting at cops, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But Ain't no way. You can't do business like that. So I don't blame them for leaving. Let me know your thoughts and everything down below. And we'll be back with another one soon. I'm like I said before, I'm picking out the stories that kind of stand out to me. You know, they might be a little bit random. I can't cover everything. I have a limited amount of time that I can work with in the evenings, but I'm gonna do the best I can to fish around and, you know, find you all some good stories to talk about, and feel free to share your thoughts as well. So y'all have a good night, and I'll get back with you soon.